Good, I got this stuff. Inside beer already, so switch. Try to switch to play.
I got this at the Mauer wood stuff, you know, behind right alone. Go in and she's on the nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 60-Minute Mash.
Welcome. All right, calm down, everyone. Calm down. Welcome to the show, the 60-Minute Mash. It is the 24th of July, and boy, do we have a show for you.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Well, first off, we will discuss what is currently in our glasses right now. And I'll let you kick off first, Mr. Molten Hops.
Well, mine has a bit of a story to this one. This would be the longest beer I've ever had down. 21 days. It's a
21. Sorry, 21 days on
so I
tap,
said
or
this-
21 days fermenting?
21 days fermenting.
Oh, okay.
I've never had a beer 21 days on tap. Come on.
Well, if everyone will notice we're a bit stuffy. That's why we missed last week, being a bit crook. So
Yeah, sorry,
I
guys.
thought maybe the sickness may have prolonged the lifespan of that keg.
No, actually, it was. When did I put it down? I put it down on the 2nd of July. As normal, it's what I call my Bavarian lager. So it's just a couple of hops and about 8 kilos of grain. Basically Vienna and Pilsner. I'll avoid your Atlas. Excuse me. So anyway, I put it down as normal, and then I had my steps. I had what did I have? I had about 3 days at 12 degrees because it's a lager, and it uses the M76, I think it is, lager yeast, and it likes the lower temperatures. So I started off at 12, and then 3 to 4 days, then I knock it up to 13, and then after another 3 days at 13 degrees, I'll knock it down to about 10 degrees. I'm just working on the new soft crash that everybody's talking about. Instead of going straight to a cold crash, I'm working on a soft crash. So,
all right, well, explain a bit more about that, please.
So the soft crash is normally with a cold crash, you'll be at temperature, you'll do your diacetyl rest a little bit above what you've been fermenting at, and then you just, I drop it down to 3 degrees for 3, 4, 5 days, depending when I need the beer. Mostly it gets about 3 days, cold crash at 3 degrees. So there's been a bit of banter about soft crash and how, I haven't gone into the technical details, but I thought I'd give it a go and see if I can note any changes. So instead of going straight to a cold crash to 3 degrees, you go a couple of degrees below what the yeast would, below the yeast's lowest temperature that it likes to ferment at.
Okay, yeah.
And that's what they're calling the soft crash. So this one here, I think I used 8 degrees because it works well between, I think it works well between 10 and 14, the Bavarian lager yeast, the M76. It's a Mangrove Jack yeast.
Yep.
I love it. It's really good. But for some reason, this story that I've got for this beer, it's I only kegged it yesterday. Pretty impressed with it, except I overcarbonated it. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
There's the lead up to that. So anyway, about 11, 12 days into, I'm watching it. I go to the fermentation fridge, and it just doesn't, even though my rat pill is telling me it's good to go, it's been sitting at the ABV that I've been looking for quite a few days, and then it's still got all the krausen and everything on top of, in the fermenter, on top of the beer, the wort. And I thought, this is not right. Can't be right. And I did have this happen once before. And so I thought, I'll just leave it another few days. And I still had the krausen sitting on top. So me being me, I thought, well, bugger this. Took the shit out of the fermenter to try and get all the krausen down to the bottom. I achieved that.
Yep.
So I let it sit for another 2 to 3 days. I don't know what day it was now, but it's been fermenting for way much longer than what I'd normally ferment for. Anyway, a lot of it seemed to come to the top again, and being a lager, most of the fermentation should be on the bottom, if I remember rightly, because the ale likes the top, lager likes the bottom. Anyway, I thought, oh, well, it's got to be time to keg it. My rat pill had been telling me it's good to go. I've done all this other shit. But it was, I did something. I released my valve. See, in my fermentation stations, I don't use the spunding valves. I just use 10 psi release valve. Even though Key from Kegland doesn't recommend that because they get jammed up. Well, I understand after this story, I understand what he's been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I went to release them. I went to transfer it to my keg, and nothing came out. And I just noticed that the filter on the end of the input or the output for the beer was quite covered in krausen. So I went to clean it. So I was releasing pressure, and all the krausen rose to the top. Kept coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. So, you know, when you're supposed to have this much beer and no krausen, I had like, let's say, a third of the fermenter just all krausen. And that's when I realised, I thought, this is still fermenting. It is still fermenting. So, what it has been is my little 10 psi release valve has not been releasing.
Okay.
So, when I've gone to release it to take the cap off so I can clean the filter before I do an enclosed transfer, which that's a whole nother story, because once you do that, you've got oxygen in your wort anyway. So it's like, oh, I'm going to screw this beer. Anyway, I put the lid all back on, and I slowly, over the next couple of days, released all the pressure out of it. It was still fermenting after 14 or 15 days. I cannot believe it. And I was like, I'm learning as I'm going. It's like, you're kidding me. So I had another beer there that saying it was ready to go. It looked ready to go. It looked ready to go after 4 or 5 days because I was using Nova Lager.
Yeah.
And Nova Lager, as you know, Nova Lager's pretty damn clean, crisp, and it ferments out fairly quickly.
Yep.
So hence, after all this with this beer...
You got a Stein glass. Fucking hell.
Yeah, well,
I've only got this little pussy thing.
Well, I was going to go and grab one of the glasses you gave me, and I thought, oh, this is in the fridge, it's cold. So I just grab it, and I think it's about the same content. This just looks more manly. Anyway, Get back to my story.
Yes.
I don't know, 14 or 15 days, as I said. Thought it was good to keg. No way was it good to keg. And I had an instance a few weeks prior where it all looked the same, and when I did a close transfer and kegged it and everything, and it just had a slight off taste. So I think the same thing happened. That when you build up too much pressure in your fermentation, pressure fermentation, anything above 10, 12 psi, it retards the fermentation.
Is that the political correct term?
Retards it? I don't know. It slows it down, stops it.
You can't say that. Can't say the R word.
Retard is not. Retard is. Look in the dictionary. Retard is to slow down or encumber or something like that. It's not. It's not meant for one particular area. Retard is a word.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So
I'll trust you on that.
You can Google that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Actually, no, I'm going to Google it just to give you peace of mind. Right now.
You're going to share your screen?
Well, I've got to find a window that I've got open.
No, that's all right.
Here we go. I'll share my screen.
Okay, share away.
Uh,
I can test out my hotkeys.
oh shit! I can't even see my keyboard.
Yeah, that's I.
Retard. Okay. Delay or hold back in terms of progress or development.
Okay, well, I guess that
Retard.
fits. Okay, I'm sorry. I
And
apologize.
that's where the term retard comes from. It just when younger and kids and stuff like that, and other people before you, that's where all that comes from. But the word retard is delay or hold back in terms of progress or development. So
Right.
that's
So
what
I
happened.
didn't know
with
that. I didn't know that.
Okay. Oh, good. You've learned something.
I've learnt something. Thank you.
So anyway, that's what was happening because my fermentation, my pressure valve wasn't releasing it below 10 psi. It retarded the fermentation side of things. So what I had to do, because I never ran, I actually did run. I put a spunding valve on it after that, but
Oh,
I
yeah?
was just so disappointed with that as well because they're just so friggin' inaccurate. It's not funny.
What are they? Are they inaccurate with the reading of the pressure that they're regulating out of the
Yeah.
fermenter?
Inaccurate at releasing when they're supposed to release pressure.
Okay.
I had to adjust mine several times just to get it like between 5 and 10 psi. Otherwise, I'd set it there, it would release. I'd come out the next day and it's sitting up around bloody 15, 20 psi again. It's like, what? So, I mean, that's
Oh,
why I
okay.
gave you a
So,
couple of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I gave you a couple of them because they're just so friggin' unreliable.
This is the Keg King one
Yeah.
with the bigger dial, or is this the Keg Land one with the smaller dial?
I don't know because I gave you my Keg King ones. Well, I gave you a couple, but I don't know whose was whose. The one that I've got here is it's all built in to the disconnect. And it's got a little
little gauge
dial on the front, and then it's got
Yeah.
the bit on the back where you can release it or tighten it.
Okay.
Also, you can.
Is that the brass? Is it the brass?
No,
And
it's the plastic one.
Oh, it's plastic. Okay, so that's the Keg Land one. The Keg King one is the brass. It has a bigger dial on it.
Yeah, I've got one of those as well.
And I haven't had any issues with that one. When I've set it to when I've set it to the PSI on the screw out, because it's got etched markings. It's been fairly accurate to where I've set it to where it's kept the pressure.
Yeah, it would want to be. The difference between that and the other ones is like the one you're talking about, the brass one, is like $50.
Okay.
And the other ones are like about $10. So.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's why I gave you a couple of them because they've just never worked for me, and that's why I had the 10 psi release valve that automatically releases at 10 psi.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem over the last 3 years until recently. So I might need to work out I might need to lubricate them or something. But anyway, that appears to be what the problem was. So once I started checking it and releasing the CO2 every day, then it slowly was good enough. I got it to a point where all the krausen had dispersed. And it was right to keg. And when I kegged it, because I was keeping an eye on the CO2, it was fairly flat, maybe 5 psi. So when I've kegged it and did my forced carbonation, I thought, I'll just give it a little bit extra time. And that's, of course, why I overcarbonated it. So that was another thing. It's just been one of those beers that's taken over 3 weeks with little niggly problems. But at the end of the day, it is a slightly different flavour there that I'm used to with my Bavarian. But, and that's the other thing. Because it's sat there for 3 weeks, normally this thing has been designed to work at 4.2%. and I've had it slightly higher, 4.3 and slightly lower, 5.6%.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, I can only tell you that from doing the ABV and using the hydrometer. I use the hydrometer. I use the rat pill, but the rat pill is more of just a guide for temperature and ABV readings that are consistent over a few days. I don't rely on the actual ABV reading.
Or gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh,
I mean, if that's the result you've had. I've had
gravity
zero.
reading, not ABV.
I've had zero issue with the readings that the rat pill gives me, and I test those results with the hydrometer at the end, and it hasn't been out once. So I'm not sure if it's how you've calibrated it or
Did you calibrate it once or the double calibration?
at
Or
the
you got a
start.
time?
I actually calibrated it a few times.
Yeah, I've calibrated mine a few times, and one of them's close and the other one's no cigar.
And then I've noticed that there's actual calibration settings for different yeasts as well, which I haven't really looked into, which it's something I wouldn't mind knowing more about. But yeah, I haven't had any issues with the gravity reading on the rat pill versus when I do a final gravity reading after fermentation. It's been spot on.
Yeah, I know, and I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? But anyway, if you're not having a problem with it, fantastic. But for some reason, I get one, because I've got two, one that's always within 1 or 2 points, and then the other one is out the buggery. Like one instance there, I did my not final gravity, but did my original gravity, and it read 1.040, and then when I put the rat pill in, first reading I got, which was probably about an hour later, was up around 1.048, and I thought, no, that's not right. So I don't know, and I just recently recalibrated them both a couple of weeks ago at zero gravity, so I can't answer that. It's a little bit disappointing, but at least they're not like the other ones that are available, and they're a few $100s a pop. These are only about 70.
Yeah, I'm going to share the screen. Check out the shared screen here. What do you think about one of these guys?
Meat. Wrap digital regulator and spunding valve. Is that a new thing? I've not seen one.
I mean, it says notify me when available. So I don't know if they've had it in and it's sold out, or if it's about to come to the market, because I think I'm going to get this.
I think, yeah, I would agree.
Because if we can measure the pressure and capture that data in the Brewfather app too, it's another measurement we can, put into the algorithm. Well, not the algorithm, but the science of the beer we've made. Have we?
Does it say what it actually does? I mean, it's obviously in the headline, like wrap digital regulator and spunding valve, so it releases pressure. But what's the digital regulator? Like, what does that do?
Oh, okay. Well, I would just
yeah, I'll have a look at it later.
I would just just for the spunding valve, I would assume that I could control the pressure in the fermenter and actually monitor it, and because it's on the wrap system, I'm guessing if I wanted to adjust it from, if I'm not at home and I feel like it needs to move.
Okay, I think the difference is, well, just quickly referencing, the regulation is the regulation when you're fermenting. The spunding is when you're transferring, from what I can basically roughly quickly grasp looking at your screen.
Oh, so if you wanted to keg it at a certain flow rate.
Which I do. You know, you have a spunding valve for when you keg it.
Yeah,
So
but that release valve on the on your gas line on the keg when you're
what you do with your little red spunding valve.
Yeah.
This you would do.
It would
You
go.
can manually do it by the look of it.
Now that would still go between the fermenter and the keg, wouldn't it?
No, it'd be on your gas line.
Okay, so you could use it. Okay, so you'd use it.
Sorry, hang on. I'd say that if you're using it as a spunding valve, it has to go on the gas line of the keg. So it regulates the pressure on the way out.
Okay, so the two uses it has is it would be your spunding valve for the fermenter.
Yeah.
And then you pop it on the gas line on the keg when you want to do the fermented to keg transfer, and it would regulate. Yeah. Okay.
No, you're right, but you've got it twisted. So the regulation side of it is when it's fermenting. You're regulating the pressure it's fermenting at. The spunding side of it is you're regulating the pressure that you're letting the gas out while the beer's going in the keg.
Okay. All right.
Make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, you got it right. The terminology was just back to front. And I've got to look at it properly, but that's the way I would read it. Otherwise,
the spunding's for the fermentation process. The regulating.
No, the spunding is for the enclosed transfer.
No, it says here the spunding is the digital control for the fermentation process. The regulating is the digital control the gas pressure into kegs. So I think I had it right. I think I had it the right way.
Yeah, you've got it the right way. I had to ask about face. So, well, that's a bit weird. Anyway, because only
because of the terminology on the unit itself. Because the spunding's the fermentation, from what I've learned. I don't know. And
well, I've always classed the spunding valve as when you're doing enclosed fermentation. It's the same thing. They've just given it two different things here now.
That's all good.
I don't know. I've never used one for fermenting.
Anyway, notify me when that comes into stock.
Yeah,
that might be your. That might be.
I've never seen it ever.
Now, is this the one you have?
No, I've got heaps of those. They're just regulators.
Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about.
I've got a few of those, but they don't like being in the kegerator, so I've got rid of them. So they just don't work. The spunding valve, this one here, the blow tie.
Oh,
that's the one that I use for kegging, and that's the one you use for fermenting.
No, the blow tie I use to release. That's my release valve. I don't use that for fermenting.
Oh, what's the? Oh, I don't know. Oh no, because you're using the brass one for your fermenting, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think it's not on here. I'm pretty sure it's a Keg King. Oh, look at this.
I'm pretty sure it is too.
Oh, I want one of these so bad.
Why?
I don't know. Why not? More beer.
Because you can just build it yourself.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Get a bigger fridge. I mean, I've looked at them. Here's the point. When you're running two fridges like this, at the moment, when we monitor and regulate the temperature of our worts, our fermentation, we use the Inkbird on each individual unit, but we only have one fermenter in the fridge, in the fermentation station. So we control the temperature of that one fermentation station which controls the temperature of the wort, the fermenting beer. If you have two in the one, I don't know how they do that. If two, say you've got a lager and an ale, and they ferment at different temperatures.
Yeah.
So I look at it from I'm always doing double batches as well. So I've always got like 2 beers on the go.
Yeah, you do
I can see
two.
the point of it. I just didn't understand how you could regulate if you're running 2 different beers.
I don't think you could. I don't think it's sectional. That's what you want. That's what you want. You want a wrapped fermentation fridge with 2 doors, 2 different sections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to be able to control the temperature of each, even if...
That's right. That's hence the 2 doors, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that would be more... I don't know. If you're doing double batches of the same beer all the time, you don't got to use 2 single batch fermenters, whereas we're using just double batch fermenters in the one fermentation station.
Yeah. I guess I just get caught up in the hype of different products.
I've looked at them, but that's the only thing is the temperature regulation of different beers. You know, for me, I'd still only be putting the one double batch into that $800 bloody fridge.
$1,000. $1,000.
Oh, has it gone up? Okay.
Must
It was
have.
about $800 when it first came out.
Yeah, I've seen a few on Marketplace. I was like, oh, I'd love to do that, but yeah, you're right. The $50 one I picked up off Marketplace, it's doing the job. I have no reason to get one.
No,
I just look at this shit and I go, oh yeah, I'll have one of those.
Shiny. It's shiny. I understand. I fully understand. But when you pay that kind of money and you know what you can get for less money, that changes my mind pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, that's what I'm drinking. After all that, it's my Bavarian lager.
Now, is this the second batch you've done where you've had problems with the spunding valve, or this is the first time?
No, I've never. I tried it when I first got it, and I'm pretty sure you're right. It is a Keg King one.
Oh no, the release valve. Like, because I think might have been a couple of weeks back now. I think you had the same.
I did, but I didn't know that was the problem, and that left me with a slight off taste in the beer.
Ah, right, okay.
Purely and simply because it hadn't finished fermenting.
Right, okay. So now you've you solved that mystery, and you're happy with the beer that came out at the end of the day? Yeah,
it's got a slight different taste to what I would normally have, but I mean, it's been sitting in the fermenter for like 20 odd days.
It's okay.
Clear, because like I said, I shook the shit out of it to try and get everything to mix. Because I was banging my head up against the wall thinking, what the fuck is going on? Like, what? So anyway, I just let it sit. I had another beer that it was almost due. I gave it another couple of days. And that beer that I've been drinking, like I kegged this yesterday, but what I've been drinking for the last couple of weeks was my non-bittering edition Pilsner, which I called... freaking remember. We did touch on it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you're going to try. That was because you hadn't done a the Whirlpool edition. Now I'm calling it that.
Hop stand.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The hop stand.
This is it. I called it because it was a pretty much a smash beer, and I called it Nectar of NZ Lager because the hops that I used was Nectarine. I've never used it before, so that's why I called it Nectar of NZ Lager. So Nectar of NZ, instead of being Nectar of the Gods, it was just Nectar of NZ. So,
Is this a New Zealand hop?
yeah, it is. Fully New
Oh.
Zealand hop.
Yeah.
When they first brought it out, it apparently was called some sort of number, but then they changed it to Nectarine.
It was good enough to get a title.
Yeah, so just and I'll shut up after this because you've hardly said anything.
What?
This here was based on what you did with Juice Bigelow. Like you said, there was no bittering hops.
Right,
And I
yes.
thought, I'm going to try that. I did do a double batch, so it's like so basically I used my Atlas Voyager, my Carapils, and the acid malt. And the Carapils is purely just for head retention, and the acid malt is to try and keep the pH levels down. I used Nova Lager. Nova Lager did a brilliant job. So what I did with the hops, I had 20 grams at 0 boil. So once the boil had finished, I chucked 20 grams in. I just couldn't come to nothing close to the boil. That's me. I had to have something there. And then I did 100 grams at the Aroma, the hop stand. 100 grams. I did I think it was a 20-minute hop stand at 80 degrees.
Yep.
And then 5 days down the track, I did 80 grams a dry hop.
For a double batch.
For a double batch, yeah. It was
why are you being so stingy on the dry hops, man?
Because every time you put 100 grams in, you think, oh, fuck, that's another $10. That's just being a tight ass, dude.
No, I get it. That's why I homebrew. I'm fucking tight ass.
I mean, the only reason I did it, because it was one of those hops that I bought for like $25-$30 for 500 grams.
Yeah.
So it wasn't actually like $10 100 grams, but you know, but my take on that is I got a nice, crisp, clear beer.
Okay.
Very, very sweet, but not fruity enough. Like it wasn't fruity.
The flavor the flavor was sweet, or
no, the flavor was sweet.
yeah,
Not a huge amount of aroma.
Yeah.
Because of course I didn't have a huge amount of hops. I took it to the boys at the brew shop. Yeah, it is a different drink, but they said I'd brew that again. I would not change that. Whereas me, I would probably, you know, because I said to them, the hops that I used was like half of what I should have used
for a double batch. Yeah.
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 But like I finished drinking it the other day, and as I said to Captain Solo, hi Captain, I know you're watching there tonight. It was very, very different. It was very hard to get used to, and it was almost like drinking soft drink, but there was just that slight little bit of bitterness because of the 20 grams at like the 0 boil.
Yeah. Okay.
So
what was the IBU on the
I think the IBU was about 18. Let me go into the recipe. And
Okay.
I'll tell you. Batch.
Oh.
I'm losing it.
All right, you look at that. I'm gonna pause this and take a toilet break. So I'll be back in 2 minutes. So I'm gonna switch
2 minutes.
a minute. I'm gonna switch to the Be Right Back screen, and I'm gonna turn our microphones off.
Righto. Well, I might go and do the same.
All right, we'll be back in 2 minutes. Mics are going hot. All right, we're back. Thank you for sticking that out, guys. Nature calls. Guess what I'm cracking.
Oh, he's got a James Squire stride.
Does. I knew you'd notice that.
I've got a 3-week Bavarian lager.
So you think the beer turned out better for leaving it for the 3 weeks?
No. Well, no, I think I've still got a bit of a off flavour from the initial issue.
Cheers.
I think. Yeah, cheers.
Tink.
To my wife's husband.
What?
To my wife's husband. To me.
Oh, right. Okay. Jesus.
You are a bit slow tonight, mate.
Yeah. Come on. You can't get me thinking.
Anyway, the question you asked me on my Nectar of NZ, what was the IBU?
Yes.
Being no Boyle edition, was 20.
Okay.
And that was purely just the hop stand. I remember when I did it all, it was a 15-minute hop stand, not a 20-minute hop stand. When I did it, I did notice the IBUs go up, which is fine because I generally, when I make a beer recipe, I generally stick around the 20 IBUs anyway.
Yeah.
But it definitely had that little bit of bitterness, but it was very, very sweet, but not fruity. That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Just trying to figure out where the sweetness come from. Is that the sweetness
From the
coming
malt.
from? Yeah,
Just from the
grains.
grain.
Yeah.
And it was just the Voyager Atlas.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it was 8 kilos of Voyager Atlas and 300 grams of carapils and 150 grams of the acidulated malt.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, just for the head retention and the pH levels. But it was different, and I've done my cook that I did on the weekend, which I've called my citric lager.
Okay.
No, it's a pale ale, sorry, because I've used Citra and Mosaic, the 2 hops that you used in your Juice Bigelow.
Yes.
And I should share my screen. I'll bring it up and I'll share it.
All right.
Just so I can go through the recipe.
Yeah,
Have you
please
actually
do.
said anything tonight? Or has it just been me going off? I feel like
Oh, no, I've said heaps. Come on, man. I've said heaps.
Okay. Where's my Brewfather? Here. Share. Okay, now I need to go to the Brewfather app. So,
these hotkeys I've set up are so much easier to scene select. Just a bit of behind, bit of behind the scenes for everyone there. Yeah, I just got to hit a quick button.
I'm just looking at our delay. Oh yeah, it's come up now. Yeah, cool. Right, so my the recipe. So it's currently fermenting. So if I go to the batch recipe. So as I said, I call this my citric pale ale. It does say IPA up there, but it's pale ale. It's not an Indian pale ale because it's just not enough hops.
What makes a pale ale Indian?
IPA. Indian pale ale.
And then it's just a pale ale, did you say?
Yeah, an Indian pale ale is more hoppy and different, a little bit different. I don't know how much different.
Okay.
And that's why when I did it, I thought, oh, it's not really an IPA. I'll just call it a pale ale. But I didn't change my batch recipe, so.
Yeah, no, okay. I just wasn't sure.
I used 7 kilo of Voyager Atlas, which is a Pilsner grain, 500 grams of Vienna, 350 grams of carapils, and 150 grams of acidulated malt.
Yep.
So that gives me an ABV of about 4.3. So I have been adjusting my brewhouse efficiency because it's just not been working properly. So
Yeah.
once again, there is no boil bittering additions. So I did 20 grams of Citra at 0 boil time when it finished at the end of the boil. And then I did 130 grams hop stand. And that was a 20-minute hop stand at 80 degrees. And then I think tomorrow, actually, I've got to dry hop it. 100 grams of Citra and 100 grams of Mosaic.
Ooh.
And I used the Verdant IPA. That's probably where I got IPA from, which is the Lallemand Verdant. The Verdant is an ale yeast, but it doesn't clean up as good as the Bry 97, which is another
Yeah.
lower
Okay.
brew. And that's why I normally use Bry 97, but I had the Verdant IPAs I've had in my fridge for a while, so I thought, oh, might as well
May
use
as well
them.
use
This is
them.
an experimental beer anyway.
Is there a flavor profile for that type of yeast? Is it?
Just an IPA, which means hoppy to me.
Okay.
Let me have a look in here. What does it say? Flavor: apricot with notes of tropical fruit and citrus.
Okay.
Leaves a soft, balanced malt profile with slightly more body than a typical American IPA yeast
Oh,
strain.
good. So that's on theme of the fruit notes you're going for.
Yeah, you're dead right. So maybe with my experiments, this is the second one with no bittering additions. You've got to use the hops to get the flavour. So I'll find out with this one because I used more hops. I used 30 grams more hops at the hop stand, and I've used 120 more grams in the dry hop.
130 grams on the hop stand. That seems ambitious. Is that? I don't know.
I think you used 200 grams when you did your Juice Bigelow.
In the hop stand.
Mm.
Okay,
I
I'll
could
have
be
to
wrong.
double check that because.
Where are we?
What have I done here? There you go.
There we go, Juice Bigelow, Kegland. So.
Oh, you're looking it up. Okay.
Yeah, so you use 300 grams of hops in a single batch.
I did use 100 grams. Okay. In the hop stand. I don't remember using that much. Okay. Yeah.
And then you did 100 grams the dry hop.
200 grams dry hops. Yeah, 100 of each. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, so 130. Okay, that's not as...
But I've done mine. Mine's a double batch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's... Yeah, that's true.
Well, let me just double check. Which one did I look up? Yeah, the
21 litre.
Yours is a single batch.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what comes out. I used different. Got a bit of carapils there, but I used my Pilsner malt, and my Vienna. So yeah, it'd be just interesting to see what we end up with.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
Mm.
I think I've taken up 75% of our hour or more.
Oh no, that's all right. That's you've got a lot going on. I mean, I've had questions and you've been answering along the way, so.
Oh, cool.
You would have got through it. You would have got through it a lot quicker if I hadn't fucking asked so many questions.
No, but that's how we learn, dude. You know, that's how we
Well, that's
learn.
it. Yeah, I'm more of a learner and a listener at this stage, so quite happy for you to take the reins.
Yeah, we just learn by doing, basically. You do the same as I do. So, all right, what have we got? What is this? What to do with spent grains? What's the go with that?
Oh, that's just because we've had this conversation in the past on
Oh yeah, yep,
what are we
yeah.
going to do with our spent grains, and I thought it was interesting, and I saw this article pop up from my mates at the Crafty Pint. This company or this brewery, this is just an idea. I'm not going to go into deep about it, but this brewery, they are giving their spent grains to a company that grows mushrooms for
Okay.
local restaurants. And I just found that interesting because we're always asking each other, what can we do
Yeah,
with spent grains?
spent grain.
I'll share it up here now.
Yeah, I brought up the actual link that you sent me. And I thought, oh, maybe that's what we can do, grow mushrooms. But I'd be too bloody scared to grow mushrooms because there's so many out there that can kill you.
Yeah, you'd have to
Oh,
do it. You'd have to do it right. And the company that are growing the mushrooms, they must know what they're doing because these are going to restaurants. So yeah, they making a mushroom component to go in these tacos. So
right.
from what I understand, it's a pretty. You have to have a very controlled environment to successfully grow mushrooms, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that hey, here's an option
Yeah.
for spent grains.
Yeah. Don't you have a mate that grows mushrooms, don't you?
Yeah, last time I spoke to him, yeah, he was doing mushrooms.
Maybe we could get some insight, or we could give him our grains.
Well, okay, that's not a bad idea. I'll hit him up and see if he can do anything with it. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that.
Well, you can imagine it. I can imagine it would just go into like a composting thing. And I know because of the sugars and starches that are in it. You know, I chuck mine in my recycled greens bin, and if I, within that fortnight or week, I'm definitely growing something off it. It's definitely fungus or something growing off it.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Oh, that
it's
was that one.
interesting.
But what I will touch on is my next brew that I'm going to be making.
Oh, cool. What's that one?
If you're interested, I'm going to bring it up on the share again. Here we go. We show the lovely people out there. This is called the Dark Strong Lager, the Hunt for the Red Bocktober. Another kit from
right.
Kegland, but it's supposed to. And I've never ventured into this field before, but it's supposed to be a dark red ale. Oh, ale is it? It's called Bocktober. So
it might be
a Dunkless Bock.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Yes.
I'm interested to see what's in it.
Yes,
and
so
I'll tell you what.
And I put my hand in my pocket and paid for this one. I gave Kegland the extra $1 to mill the grains.
Right. Oh, dude, you're learning.
But I'm not sure if I'm happy with their crush. I might run it through again because it just felt, or it looked not as crushed as I would. But that's probably how I should. It's probably how I should be doing it.
Of $1.
I just wanted to try it. You know, I was feeling
Generous.
Generous. Yeah, that's a good word. Okay, malts. Actually, let's talk about what we're expecting for the IBU. We're expecting 20. And here's a new one for me, a 34.5 EBC. That's on the darker side.
Yeah.
That is the dark side. So it's just pretty standard mash, 65 at 60. Jesus, these grains. 2.8 kilograms of Wayman's Munich 2. 2.8 of Vienna malt. I could have asked them to leave that one out. I've got heaps of Vienna here.
Then you
Here's
got another Cara one.
Cararoma
Cararoma.
and Cara Munich.
Munich.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're the two that I get that color out of.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Especially-
thinking, the last two. Because the Munich, I've got a bit of Munich in my fridge I haven't used for ages. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful. It's a darker grain. but,
Yep.
You know, still, if you were to, it's more like an amber, not a chocolate grain.
Yeah,
What's
because I'm going for the red,
Oh.
so I'm guessing, yeah, amber.
Well, I had a sample, and I was curious to see what was in it. A sample of a, I think it was a red. I think it's a stout. But locally in Maitland, we've got a place called the Pork House. And all they sell is craft beer. And the boys at the brew shop that I go to, every Friday, they go up and they'll get like a, I forget what you call it now. A big glass thing of a particular brew that they're, what do they call it? Can't remember. Anyway, it's a couple of litres they put in this bottle, and they'll share that throughout the day.
Oh, yeah.
And this thing, like, I think it was about 6 or 7%. And I haven't had a dark beer for years and years and years and years. And when I had a mouthful of this, I only had a mini, it was like chocolate, coffee, cinnamon.
Ooh, all
and
the
other stuff.
specialties.
It was phenomenal. You'd probably have one beer. Maybe.
Heavy. Time for a nap.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice. Don't get me wrong, it was nice, but holy shit, there was a lot going on.
Oh,
A lot going on.
oh. Hey, give me
So
one
I'll be
sec.
curious-
I
yeah,
can hear you. I can still hear you while you talk. I just got to disappear for 1 sec.
Oh, who wants to place a bet on where he's going? Grandma's bladder. So I can be accused of that. So I would say we're getting very close to time. So I'm going to take over the screen here for a second and set up. Set up my video of the week. Why can't I find it here? Well, that's disappointing, Paul. Oh, no.
Telling lies about me. Makes you think I went
No.
to the toilet. Grandma's bladder. Said I could
Nobody
still
even
hear
mentioned
you.
that. Nobody even mentioned that.
I
Grandma's
said I
bladder.
could still hear you.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said it. I'm trying to find in the share
Mm.
a video that I've got to share, because I'd say we're just about ready to wrap it up, I'd say.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we're done on the Red October.
Oh, unless you got more to say. I was just preparing my screen while you
Oh,
went and...
no, that's all right. My screen's still shared, so I'll just mention the hops, the 18 grams of Hallertau Blanc.
Oh,
at
is it
this.
still shared?
Yeah, mine's still shared.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll watch that. Why the hell is this not going? Anyway, I'll let you finish and then I'll look again.
Oh, is it still shared? Yeah, it says it's shared. Yeah, the Hallertau Blanc. Have you used that hops before?
No, Hallertau, but in a standard version. You've used it in another version again.
Hallertau Traditional is what I've used. That's
Yeah, well, that's what I've used.
I can't say I got
Is
too
it-
much flavour out of it.
Yeah, well, the grain.
Oh,
it's
actually-
got me, I don't know the grain, so that's yeah.
Yeah, well, you know Vienna. That's fairly
Yeah, I know
that's
the
fairly
other.
biscuity. Okay, and the yeast, the Lallemand Nova Lager, which we're very familiar with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Nova Lager.
So I'm pretty happy to see that in the kit because I know what to expect.
And that's a single batch again, isn't it?
Single, yeah. 2 packets
What
on
is
the
it?
single. That must be.
Yeah. What's the ABV?
That's what I was just looking at. Oh, 6.6er.
Okay.
So she's going to be.
Up there.
She's going to be an after dinner mint. That one.
You'll have to make some other beer or something, dude, because you won't be able to drink that as your session of an afternoon.
Oh,
Hi, honey, I'm home. Couple of beers. Sleep on the lounge.
Yeah, if it gets too much, I could always thin it out with a bit of soda water.
Oh, yeah, well, that works. I do that all the time.
Yeah, but ever since a mate at work mentioned the red ale, I thought as soon as I get the chance, I will be.
Yeah.
I got to stop calling it an ale, and I got to do more research on what a bock is and its origins.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna dig yourself a big rabbit hole going into box.
Really?
There's so many different. I can't. I still shake my head. It's like, oh, what? We come up with another style of beer. Yeah. So
anyway, okay, I'll have more information that we can talk about what I've learned. I'll do some homework. Fermentation. Oh, can I wait that long? It's a 5-day. Is it a 5-day cold crash? It wants cold crash for 5 days.
he wants to drop a lot of heavy shit out of there.
I don't get this fermentation profile. Primary 10 degrees for 5 days. 13 degrees for 2 days. I don't think Nova Lager can go down that cold.
Nova Lager is anything from 10 degrees up to,
okay.
To 20.
Right,
10 to 20. And if you're pressure fermenting, you can get away with 22.
So
there's one thing I forgot to mention, dude. The last few beers that I've done,
yeah,
I've actually done what you've done, and I've got them down to just a couple of degrees above the temperature for the yeast, and and whacked it straight in the fermentation station, straight out of the boil. And the last one I was talking about, which was the no bittering edition, the one that I've just drank, man, it was ready to go in 4 days.
Yeah.
4 days. It's like, what? And that's the reason I did it and let the other one keep going.
I think the biggest helper on that is not just the temperature, but how much oxygen's still in there at the time of putting the yeast in. I think the yeast just fucking love that shit.
Yeah, and the one that I did on the weekend, I've had no pressure out of it. There's no pressure, but it's telling me that it's ready to go by my rat pill. But when I look at it, there's still heaps of yeast sitting on top. I don't know what's going on with the rat pill, but it's more a visual thing. It gives me the right temperature, but as far as the gravity goes, I think it's pretty crap at the moment.
Okay, just before we move on to the funnies, the next thing in my life is the extract kit. Remember I was speaking about the hazy extract kit? Yes, I have uncanned that. It is in its 12th day of fermentation on my kitchen table. Yes. I just put the last lot of dry hops in, so 3 more days. I think what I'll do is I'm going to drop, because it's just in that actually throws out the window. I'm trying to do like a how to make a beer with standard equipment type video, not with these fancy boilers and pressure fermenters.
Yeah.
But I have to draw the line at the keg and bottling because I don't have bottles, and I don't have room to keep bottles if I bought them. So I'm just going to drop this straight into the keg and force carbonate. It's going to introduce a lot of oxygen, obviously, but That's the only way I'm going to be able to do it.
Well, you shouldn't have too many dramas because back in the day when Wayne and I were doing brews, that's how we did it. Why are you talking about it? That's how we did it, but we would bottle it, not in the kegs. Yeah, so it just works, except every now and then you get a shitty one.
Yeah, I feel like if I just crack the top off the keg, run a
Yep.
tube in. I've got a sock to put on the tube to catch any of the crap.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have any of the hops sort of come into the keg.
No, when I the later version, before I was doing enclosed transfer, I would just crack the fermenter from the bucket and take the top off the keg, and I had like a little foam filter, and I would run it through that before it went in the keg. So
okay.
Sort of do the same thing.
Okay, and then I figure since it's in the keg, I'll pop CO2 in it, and any of that oxygen that is in the keg's not going to be in there for longer than a minute. So
no, just purge it, pop it in, purge it, job done.
I'll force carbonate it and then throw it in.
Yeah.
So I that was a whole process. About to release a video on that. Not this week, but next week. I've got a video coming out this week on what to do with leftover briskets. Picked up a little pie maker, so keep your eyes out.
We plug in CJ's Brewing Barbecue tonight,
Bro, it's been down here the whole video. I'm plugging it.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah,
we need more videos on what's on your side.
I've taken some pictures. I've just never published anything. I've got to do it. I mean, I enjoy it, but sometimes I just get caught up in what I'm doing.
And it's like, tell me about it. I mean, same here. I
mean, you've got more hassles than what I have when you do stuff. I mean, I've got bugger all people around when I do it. I'm just lazy. But anyway.
I'm pretty lazy too, and you're right. You just have to do it. Like, there's always reasons not to do it, but...
Because when you do it, you're always happy that you did it.
Oh, yeah. I don't love it. During the whole process, I don't love any of it. But when I hit publish, it's like, yes, job well done, me. Thank you.
It's like going to the gym. Okay, yeah. Once you've done it at the gym, it's like, oh, I feel better now. I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, I'd say so. This is the creative gym that I'm going to get these thoughts out of my head onto some type of platform. But anyway, okay, time for some funnies. Let's go. What have you got?
Have you got one ready?
I've got one ready. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go first. It's got to get mine working. Might have to swap what I open it with.
Okay, and because I'm forklift certified, this one's a bit close to home. I'll just throw some audio on here. You ready? You ready for this? All right.
Yeah. Oh, are you kidding me?
No, you hate to see it.
Oh, you can see it ready to go.
Oh.
Why is nobody licking that shit up?
Oh, bro. HR gonna have a field day on this motherfucker.
Where do you think you could improve on that?
Well, at least he stayed in the forklift.
Going down with the ship.
Where could you have improved? It's hard to say, but I think a second forklift may have needed to be involved there. No, they're not sponsoring us. Get out of here.
Okay. Now.
Did you find it, or do you want to send me the link?
Yeah. No, I've got it.
All right.
All right. Now I just have to click on the link to play it. I really like this when I saw it. It was so good.
All right. successful. This is like when Dave closes his boot.
Yeah, you cheers.
Oh, damn. Got that full service.
Oh, that was so funny.
Order flakes. Very
He thought he
good.
was king shit.
Awesome. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate
All right.
each and every one of you. Much love. We'll see you next week. Hopefully, we're feeling a bit better and aren't so nasally in your ear holes.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for hanging around.
That's where